Are Mormons Christians? Yes or no? Why or why not? And or are they a cult? And how would you witness to a Mormon? So that's kind of 12 questions lumped into one that we probably got today.
Yeah, and there's some yes to all in that.
Yes.
That's the complicated thing. So I'll give a couple of thoughts about Mormons and then about Mormonism. So when it comes to Mormons, I think there is a variety of how much they understand Mormonism itself. And within the Mormon church, if you were to attend there, you would listen and you go, there's an awful lot of this that sounds like Christ Community Church. A lot of it sounds like standard evangelical Christianity. They sing some of the same hymns, some of the same songs. They have some of the same forms. They have a lot of the same morality. And, I would say if Mormons moved in as neighbors in my neighborhood, I would say awesome, because they tend to be very moral people who make good neighbors, and they're really likable, and I've enjoyed my relationships with Mormons. So there's a lot of good that's there. And I think, honestly, we will be surprised when we get to heaven that God had mercy for people in the Mormon church who didn't know a lot of the complexities of their own theology and just responded to the Jesus that they heard about in the hymns and the teaching. And I think we'll see some people that are there in heaven. Now, that being said, I would say Mormonism is a cult. And there's a number of things that would lead towards that. One is the way that it was founded. Joseph Smith was just a horrible person. He's somebody who was a sexual abuser. He was somebody who was violent. He's somebody who lied. And I think that the entire story, which is the story of Joseph Smith went out into the woods, dug up some golden tablets, translated them, and then poof, the tablets disappeared. I think it's just made up. And I think the Book of Mormon is just a made-up book. And you can find all types of things that you can compare the Book of Mormon to the Bible. The Bible is a historical book. The Book of Mormon is just a book that a guy wrote from, theoretically tablets in the wilderness, but it has no connection to real history. It talks about places that weren't places. It talks about civilizations that weren't civilizations. And it's just kind of a bunch of made-up stories that come from a particular guy. There's claims like the people who are the natives in the Americas are descendants of Abraham. You can do DNA testing, and Mormons have done DNA testing, and none of that proves out to be true. So when it comes to history, archaeology, DNA, all those types of things, everything you find in the Old and New Testament checks out. Everything you find in the Book of Mormon does not check out. And then there's some theological problems. One example is that Mormons believe that God used to be like us. He used to be a human being, and he has now progressed to the place where he is, and that we are little gods who one day can progress to become like God as well. And especially if you're a man. If you're a woman, you kind of have to wait for your husband to call you in the heavens, and then you're able to get in. So you better be nice to your husband on earth so that he'll call you into heaven when you get there. That's a separate subject. But the idea is that we can evolve and become like God, and then we can make spirit babies and have our own little, universes that are all around the world. And this is just patently different than what the Bible teaches, that God is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. God is the same yesterday, today, and forever, that God is God and we're his creation, and there's a distinct difference between that. All of those ideas are erased in Mormonism, and so the very nature of God is called into question. So I would say those are some of the problematic things that you would find in Mormonism. I would never encourage somebody to become a Mormon. There's all kinds of problems that we could talk about, but I know that we're pretty short on time for that.